This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
You are what you watch. Hello, my name is Harry Tumbuatco. Welcome to our program. I take it we've got about 30 days before the new president comes in, and thank God we are retiring something that should have gone out many years back. Either way, we've got a lot of issues coming up. We've got the new president coming on, who probably will not attend within the next couple of days the proclamation by Congress. But then again, wasn't he the one and the same person who said he'd throw them all in Manila Bay? There are a lot of issues with all the appointments coming up. Either way, what is going to happen? The last 30 days is going to show us a lot of activity. For one, you have the big question when it comes to the COMELEC. Now, let me paraphrase that properly. That's called the COMELEC Smartmatic Conspiracy. But then again, it seems people in the Senate, an election lawyer allegedly, and another newbie senators coming in saying, gee, give us some proof. Ladies and gentlemen, I am impressed, or better yet, I'm impressed because it behooves me that these people need so much information, so much real evidence when it's already staring them in the face. Ang tawag po natin dyan sa Tagalog, nagbibingihan, ano tawag pa doon? Nagbubulag-bulagan, at kung ano man. The problem is they're sitting there and they're opening their mouths and media picks it up. So all the more it goes around. Again, it's our fault because media, we are the ones who magnify everything. Now, let's just leave it at that and wait for the next 30 days and watch what happens, because obviously there's going to be a lot of things and a lot of activity. With us on this show, we have a topic. It's going to be the advocacy it's already out there. It's called Solidarity for Sovereignty. Now with us, we have the co-convener and we have the convener herself. We've got Linda Olaguer Montayre, and we have the co-convener who's been with us here in GNN many, many years back, the famous or infamous George Balagtas. Hi, thank you very much. Salamat narito kayo. Okay, diretso na nga natin. Solidarity for Sovereignty. Exactly what is it? Linda?
Solidarity for Sovereignty was organized in 2010 because we filed for a TRO of the proclamation of Benigno Aquino III.
Sayang hindi natuloy. But
no, that Supreme Court sat on it. It has not been resolved. But precisely, we filed that because it used for the first time the automated election system. And then we believe that the result was a digital president. So we had all the reasons we cited that the COMELEC did not follow the requirements or the enabling security features that was ordered by the Supreme Court. And then aside from that, the COMELEC also used Smartmatic, which was unconstitutional, because the Constitution says only COMELEC should be the one that should conduct election, not anybody else.
Your complaint was filed with the TRO with the Supreme Court, yes, or with the election body? With the Supreme Court. So in this case, the group that is left wanting is the Supreme Court. Inupuan ka ng Supreme Court.
Inupuan ng Supreme Court. But again, in 2013, there were cases again filed. So what we are trying to say now, in 2016, pinaulit-ulit nila in 2010 and then 2013. And then those at the top, like people, Mr. Pangilinan, who would say noted, and then Mr. Nograles noted.
That
and
was
then
2010,
they just brush it aside, and then they don't attend to it anymore. They treat it so cavalierly, thinking, anyway, if we ignore it, it will not be a problem that we will have to face. But we have learned our lesson. So this time, we are facing it straight in the face.
But how can you face it straight if the very authority is the one saying, no, tumahimik kayo, ignore?
No,
Which
they
is
are
what
not-
they did.
No, let me say it clearly. Our Constitution says the Philippines is a democratic and republican state. Sovereignty resides in the people, and ultimate authority emanates from them.
That's
it.
what I'm led to believe. We are a land of laws. But it seems this president has gotten away in the last 6 years, bribing the senators and going against the Constitution. No less, De Lima, who's in the Senate, went against the Supreme Court and got away with it and got elected again as the senator.
That's why this time you are rejecting categorically. And when we say rejection, we don't only mean words. We have set up something for the past 6 years that will really help us counter whatever it is that they are trying to do to the people, to dumb us down.
George, you've been in the forefront of many movements. Where is solidarity for sovereignty today, and considering what has happened where you were ignored 6 years ago?
Yeah, let me try to put this a little bit more in order. Para kasi medyo we went back and forth, no? First of all, Solidarity for Sovereignty was organized in order to explain to the people that we are a nation. We are a nation of laws. And we are a noble people that have lost its self-respect. We are a nation that has been continuously dumbed down, starting from our enslavement for over almost 400 years by the Spanish conquistadores, followed by another almost 100 years under the Americans, who gave us our quote-unquote independence, albeit with a caveat that our Constitution is our own and we are free to do as we please, provided that the exploitation of our natural resources is open to the Americans. Okay. Since then, we've become a Republican democratic government. Okay. And, you know, part of the growth system is learning how to be free. After almost 500 years of being slaves,
It's not easy.
we don't learn to be free overnight. So now, since 46, after the war, we've been given our so-called independence. It's now 70 years, okay, that we have been free. The learning process has been very difficult. And while we have been learning, the leaders that we have taken on, and most of them have been appointed by the American powers, at least the early ones. No, until magsaysay, no? They all had the thumbprint or the footprint of the Americans until this guy Marcos came on. His first election was really supported, no, by the foreign power, no, because they were excited. He was very popular. And then he ran for re-election and popularly won by a landslide. And then the Americans started rethinking their support of him because this guy doesn't want to live anymore. And then they let loose, they meaning our friendly foreign forces, they let loose the leftist movement. With the help of the then challenger, hero, nationalist, but communist at heart, traitor in his soul, Ninoy Aquino, okay, who organized this leftist violent movement, who even orchestrated the bombing of Plaza Miranda in order to take down Marcos. Result, Marcos suffered a knee-jerk reaction and declared martial law because he could no longer contain the violence that was springing out in the streets because of politics. Okay, now the bombing of Plaza Miranda was again, proven to be a handiwork of the communists with the cooperation of Ninoy Aquino by Salonga, Ninoy's father also. So that's history. But again, that's all part of history, But however, instead of allowing us to grow with all the pains and mistakes into our own nationhood, we have been co-opted by politics and elitists who continue to want to control our country. So, martial law was replaced by another, and albeit more sinister in disguise, reign under the cloak of democracy, under the yellow cloak of freedom, when in fact it installed an even worse dictatorship of the oligarchy. Okay? When Cory Aquino came in, without our realization, most of our real freedoms were taken away. To begin with, our power-generating plants were all closed down. Why? In order for the country to suffer so that they would hate Marcos. And the statement attributed to that former, now being recommended for sainthood, is she said, I want the Filipino people to suffer so that they will hate Marcos. And I will be challenged, of course. Then, if I will be challenged, ask Rene Sagisag who said that. Since then, our constitution was changed. Another freedom. From a two-party system, which was more or less more easily managed by the people, because we would see,
One or the other.
platforms, philosophies, ideologies. It became a multi-party system with an allowance for anybody can run at any time, no matter what. So we have these crazy people, coming from wherever, mental institutions, filing for presidential candidacy. You know that. The last registration was over 90 people. Even the yaya of my neighbor filed for presidential candidacy. It's stupid, and it was done by one woman that placed upon us this curse. All right. But we said to ourselves, di ba, let's try it, bago naman siya. How do we know? Baka much better yan than yung demonyong Marcos. So, we tried, and we tried. Dahil nauna sa atin yung mga military, nag-kudita 7 beses. Kasi alam nila walang mangyayari. Pero natalo yung mga kudita nila. Bakit? Kasi hindi suportado ng ating mga kaibigan. Okay. Then, yung military man took over. Ayaw natin. Hindi. Pero sabi natin, teka muna, let's try ulit. Yun alam naman natin, nanalo yun. Ako, nandun ako sa kampo ni Danding. 1 week before election, nandun na yung resulta. Alam na namin mananalo na yung Ramos. So, ano naman nangyayari sa atin? Di bali na. Let's try it. Baka sakali maganda. Okay na naman. So, pagkatapos nun, di maganda na. Gusto maging Oplan 2000. Hindi na sana bababa. Pero hindi pumayag mga Pilipino. Hindi pwedeng hindi bababa. Kailangan may napilitan. Hindi pumayag ang taong bayan na merong kon-kon o kon-as, whatever that was called. So, na-elect yung ating movie actor. Movie actor natin, kumpare ko, is a nice guy, guwapo, charismatic, and I like him because he's like me with several women. But the Catholic Church, another participant in the drama of the Cory, because of self-serving interests, objected under the charismatic Cardinal Sin, who led our people into the streets again for a second time. EDSA Part 2. But this time, this EDSA Part 2 was a different EDSA because EDSA Part 1 was a picnic and a prayer, not a revolution. And I will disagree. I will debate with anybody who calls it a revolution. It was a yellow fever of deception. The second one was another yellow fever, but this time it was a disguised. It was not a. It was the sin's anger. Sin did not want a competitor. Okay, as a president. So he was able to manipulate that. God save his soul. So we removed him. And ayaw natin sana ma-remove. Pero, Gloria naman, mukhang okay naman to. Cute na cute, di ba? Let's try. Puro let's try Pagbigyan natin. Nung pagbigyan natin, natuwa tayo nung kanyang pinakita sa atin na 3 taong ka natin na, maganda naman. Kasi under reigns pa niya si Tabachoy. Tumakbo, nanalo. Pagka panalo, let's try again. Yung try again natin, nakawala na si Taba. Ayan. Nagkaroon ng katakot-takot. Plunder dito, plunder doon, under dito, under doon. Pati lumabas tayo yung mukhang kabayo na mga na chiching niya. Eto na ngayon. Di ba? Siya, namatay yung nanay nito. Oo. Namatay ng nanay nito, hindi man lang kandidato. Noong 2004, kandidato natin yan sa genuine opposition Walang katahi-tahimik ka, nasa isang sulok lang, ayaw makihalo sa debate. Pero bigla na lang bulaga, namatay ang nanay. Sabi niya, iboto natin to, kawawa naman, matayan ng nanay. And everybody poured out in the streets. Okay pa rin. Mukhang di mananalo. Nirigaluhan tayo ng makina. Okay, ang ganda. Bidding. Ang ganda ng terms of bidding noong 2009. Awa ng Diyos, ang galing ng COMELEC natin. They violated every single item and element and mandatory of the bidding. They disqualified all the bidders and awarded it to Smartmatic. Okay, now, good pa rin. Kasi foreigner yan, gwapo ng presidente, ang galing, matangos ilong, ganyan. Dalang makina. Itetest nyo muna yan. Opo, tinest. O yun, tinest sa UP, tinest sa ARMM. Ano resulta ng test? Bagsak lahat, bug. Hindi nag-perform. Pero hindi nilabas sa media yung bagsak. O, hindi, try na natin. O, try na naman natin. Hindi, try na natin para hindi bumagsak yan. Tanggalin natin yung safety features. Tanggalin natin. Wala kayong resibo, ha? Pag boto mo, makikita, congratulations. Ay, anong resibo yun? Di ba? Nasaan na yung, paano ko makukuha yung boto mo? Boto ko, hindi mo na makukuha. Tapos, bakit na ganito? Bukas yung port sa likod. Pwedeng palitan niyo yung USB ng maski na sino. Yung kanang umungol kasi para hindi mag-overheat. Tapos, bakit ganun yung balota natin? Hindi man lang security paper. Hindi, kung mabasa. O, bakit yung printing, hindi na natin mabasa? Mahal pang bumili ng ultraviolet Meron naman tayo mga handheld na hindi naman nila ginamit. Puro katarantaduhan, puro kalokohan, ano nangyari? Yung boto natin, hindi nabilang. Yung boto natin, pag boto natin, diretso sa basura, tapos nagtayo pa ng 18 transmitter sa Antipolo. O, nahanap, nakita. O sabi, ano ganun na nangyayari? Ang dami-dami bumuboto, maigit na kung ilan yung botong pumapasok. Hindi na bale. Popular vote yan Kanang umungol. Okay yan. Kami, umungol kami. Because nga, yung conduct of the election nationwide, magtanong ka ng tanong, hindi alam ng COMELEC sagutin, ibibigay sa Smartmatic. Yung Smartmatic ang sumasagot, yung Smartmatic ang nagmamanage ng election procedure sa buong bansa. Sabi ng Constitution, iyang ating eleksyon, ang COMELEC lang ang pwedeng magmaneho niyan. COMELEC ba yung Smartmatic? Hindi. Wag na kayong maingay, wag na kayong umungol. Total naman, namatayan ng nanay yan eto na naman tayo. Nag-file kami sa Supreme Court. Mahigit 20 ata ang nag-file ng kaso doon. Ano sinagot sa amin na, God rest his soul. Kasalanan din niya. Dahil bakit? Sabi, pag pinakinggan namin yan, di pati mga senator dali, di lahat ng na-elect dali, it will cause a constitutional crisis. Walang Diyos. So, iset aside na muna natin at tingnan naman natin, baka maganda magawa. Ayun, awa ng Diyos. Una muna, this guy should not even have been allowed to run because, constitutionally impeded. Medically, he has a medical condition. Okay? He's an autistic. He's an Asperger autistic. Nanakaw ang record. Sige, you prove it. Bumubula na nga yung siwa. You prove it pa rin. So, ganun lang natin. We're a dumbed down people. Okay? Pero, sinet aside. Sige, okay. Hopefully, yung midterm election, malinis na nga yung cheating machine. Ano nung midterm election? 60-30-10. Ano nangyari? Kinumpisal sa atin ng mga operator. Invisible ink ang ginamit. Minamarkahan nila lahat ng pangalan. Puro liberal. Para lumabas 60-30-10. Lahat tayo umungol. Bakit ganun? Uniform, 60-30-10. Dahil ito ginamit. Dayaan ito. Pati doon sa transmission. Ang laki-laki ng dayaan ito. Ganito. Si Enrile. Paano nagkaroon ng 253 votes ang aming kinakambas sa Senado? O ano sabi ng Smartmatic? Just remove the 200 million, it will come to 53. That's already close to the reality. And then tinanggap na senador. Tinanggap na senado natin. Voila, we are that smart. We are so wise. 253 votes being canvassed, tanggalin mo lang yung 200 million. Tama na. Okay? Teka na, sandali.
Wait, we're going to have to take a short break.
Short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, accusation, reality, truth. Let's find out. You stay with us. We'll come right back and we'll pick it up from there.